Am I there? Can you
No,
hear me?
yeah, but I can't see you though.
Yeah, that's weird. One second. Let me figure it out.
Oh no, I think you have to pop out and back in and activate the camera before you
Okay,
press
that
yes.
sounds good. Okay, one second. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today we're talking about ancestral healing. Let's see. With Georgina. With Georgina, we're going to talk about ancestral healing. What's happening here? Girl, what do you mean? Oh, yes. See? Um, got
Yay!
it. Okay. I now understood what you meant with turn on the camera.
Yes. Let me create my position and we're gonna start. Anyway, hello guys. I don't know if anyone is here. Welcome. Today we are going to talk about ancestral healing very quick because me and Georgie will have a conversation about how by healing ourselves we ended up, let's say, healing our family
Yeah.
and releasing ancestral pattern of behavior that were constantly repeating generation after generation, like in a roller coaster. And the more work that you do on yourself, the more we are releasing this stuff from our family too. So most of us can hold, and it's a delicate process, right, Georgina? This is what we were saying. Like,
Yeah.
it's quite painful because sometimes you have to go to the way of like no contact.
Right. It's a very, very painful process. But as I was telling Alice earlier, we were having a private conversation through WhatsApp, and this topic came up, and all of a sudden my guides were like, "You need to have this
Go
conversation
live.
live. You need to go live." And I'm like, "Okay." And I cut her off in the middle of her sentence and told her, I was like, "Hey, my guides are telling me we have to go live because people need to hear this." But it truly came up because what happens is like I ended up having to go no contact with my mother. And finally, on my 30th birthday, she decided to open up to me after I felt like I had done enough healing and I felt like it was safe to go back in contact with her. She opened up to me about things that her mother did to her as a child and how, for instance, it's a bit of an extreme example, but my mother's mother tried prostituting her from the time that she was 12. And just hearing that information, it actually triggered even more healing in me because my mother didn't know how to be a mother because she was never loved from she didn't have motherly love that she was ever given. And so understanding that, it gave me that even more, even though I had already done significant healing on my own, it kind of gave even more understanding as to what
Yeah, because
exactly this process was, because there's this whole healing process going on. Things are being pulled out of you and you're having all these realizations, and then all of a sudden it's like, like, oh my god, this goes back way further than just me and my mom.
yeah, this we are the woman. We are a copy. It's like imagine in your head seeing all the generation. Every woman has been a clone of the woman after or
Right,
before,
right,
literally.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
my mother, she had like her thyroid was compromised. My grandma, the mother of my mother, got thyroid problem. The
Wow.
mother of my mother got thyroid problem. Why? And I don't, because I broke the fucking thing. because they were forced to silence. And
Wow.
so the throat chakra was completely fucked. From my father's side, there was another story even there. There
Wow.
was anger, there was repressed anger from generation and generation and generation. I didn't know why in hell I was so angry in my life, and the truth is, I was holding all the repressed anger of all this generation. So I mean,
Wow.
we put we fall out maybe with our family, or we you know we we have regret, or we don't want to forgive them. We hold grudges, and there is tension, and the healing is painful, and you ask yourself why, and then you're like, you people, you fucked me up. It's
Yeah.
you that fucked me up.
Yeah.
And so you have all this anger, and like you have to go no contact sometimes for years. To me, it took me 10 years, like
Wow.
not no contact. We would be in contact, but I couldn't be nowhere near them, like
Wow.
it would be the phone call, it's fine. If it was more than a phone call, uh,
Wow.
problems. And now, in my 32nd year of life, they came to me asking to speak. And it's like, wow, mom, dad, I've been trying to do this for the past 30 years, but better later than never. But,
Yeah.
you know,
That was the
but
part that intrigued me so much because when you said that, I was like, oh my God, that's like literally what happened with my mom. But you were telling me that it was they finally decided because of you, right?
yes, because
Because
spirit wouldn't let them stay one day without obsessing over my name. They proper told me, like, we don't know what happened, but they just could not stop thinking about me, and they could not stop the need of speaking out about those things that has kept taboo. Like, we couldn't talk. If I said to them the minimum, like, shadow, dad, you have some anger issues, shall we talk about it, I would be dead. If I said to my mom, mom, you don't speak this, you don't speak. So, it's like you have stuff in you and I cannot access it. She would be like, this is just how I am. I don't come to you and tell you how you have to be. Just defensiveness. They never
oh
open up. And now, after the earth is doing what we are doing, that the energy is coming in like this, they are being cracked open too. So as we have been cracked open and all our shit needed to get sorted, the more we sort our own shit, the more we are healing them and all their process. And bear in mind that these people, this family that we call family, they have been raised, like, they have been tortured. They
yeah,
haven't been raised.
yeah,
People don't understand that they have been heavily brainwashed, and like, they have been forced, because that was the way. There was one way, and that was the way,
right, right.
so the compassion come in when you realize that, yes, okay, they made us suffer, yes, okay, but they were full of shit that they weren't even not aware of. Like, they were full of trauma that they never, like.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Wow, I'm getting a little emotional because
Oh no, I
you
know.
you you saying it like this, it brings me back to that day when my mom opened up, and I was given up for adoption when I was 9, and I always asked her. We kept in contact for over the years as I grew up, um, on the phone, and I always asked her, like, I wanted to know more about her as a person, but she never opened up. She never opened up until I cut contact with her. I went no contact. I was serious about my decision. I wasn't gonna take any disrespect from her because she always treated me like a child that needed to be told what to do, and I wanted to be an individual. I was already an adult, and so she wasn't respecting me the way that I wanted to be respected. Um,
Typical. Typical.
exactly. And so once I finally started talking to her again, she understood she had to come correct. But the day that she opened up to me, she broke down completely. She was crying. And I was like, "Why have you told anyone about this? And why haven't you told me before?" And she said, "Because she felt like
Pride.
she was being
Pride.
punished." Pride, and also because she felt like it was a punishment that she had to pay for. She
Yes.
felt like, yeah, she felt like it was like like maybe some kind of karma that she owed, or that it was a punishment, and she felt like she couldn't
Yeah,
talk
they
to
have
anyone.
no, yeah, nobody gave them guidance, people. And one thing that you is very hard to understand, but I'm gonna try my best, is that when we are born, you and I and most of people like us think that we have to learn. But the truth is that and more people more than other, everyone is different, but in reality they were learning from us.
Yeah,
And so the problem is that like they got threatened by our intelligence, by our brightness, by and they just projected onto us what they knew. But
right.
one thing that I remember forever is like I was teaching my family how to raise me at the age of 13. I
Wow.
remember sitting in the table and being like, this is something you do, this is something you don't do. Like,
Wow.
and they were getting angry because they were looking at me thinking like,
Yes.
well, fuck. And so that's why even now in the planet we have all those indigo children, and you see those video on TikTok as well, that they're like just born and they spit pearl of wisdom.
Yep.
And people, and finally people are like like the brain is catching up, and
Yep.
they understand that it's not what they taught us, that we teach the stuff that come out of you. It doesn't work like that. They teach us as much as you teach them. Is a
Yes.
co-creation, is like but in the back then they didn't know that, and so they only think you, in our eyes we were the rebellious and they had to touch us certain things in certain way, but it was an illusion. And now
You,
they're coming back around to this, because
yeah.
now they're realizing that yes, I was vulnerable, yes, I didn't know better, yes, I didn't speak with nobody, yes, I was full of fucking trauma myself. So how can you, that's why, people want to, when you have a baby, uh, if you, according to what point of healing you are in your journey, like the more shit needs to be worked, like the more heavy it's gonna be for you and the baby, is
Right.
because you share. So uh, that's why it's so generational. And when I heal, my mother is healing, even though she's not doing the work, but we are the same thing, we are the
Yeah.
same string of energy. and
Yep.
and this is what all of us are doing, unaware of it. We are literally healing our parents and removing all this crap so that we can have children
Yep.
pure and
Yeah.
clean from all this shit.
Exactly. Do you think a lot about your descendants? Like, have you always, from a young age, thought about your own children and not wanting to inflict pain on them and things like that?
Well, like I was a very aware child. That is the only thing I can say. Like I was I was preaching, I was reading book of Osho when I was 14 in tears, because I was, I was 14 reading this thing and I was like, oh my God, I'm not crazy. I was
Wow.
like,
What is it
oh
called?
my God, there is somebody out here like me in tears for this. You understand? So it was this when you see all those mm, like people just think that having babies is like an hobby. They think like it's like buying a dog. You know, oh,
Yeah.
I want to be pregnant. It's like, all right. You know what? You're gonna keep giving birth to fucked up people like you are. That's
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Like your mother did that, your grandmother did that, and you will do that. And every like, if you don't sort your shit out, this is you're gonna have a forever on lineage of fucked up people until you somebody along the line give birth to a powerful motherfucker that is like, all right, let's stop this.
Yeah.
But it's hard because you
Yeah.
have to go through certain pain that is just excruciating, like
Absolutely.
excruciating.
Absolutely. Yes. And I think the worst I think around 2012 triggered a major part of my healing journey because that's around the time it started. Also, astrology, I've noticed triggers certain aspects of the healing that we're supposed to do or the awakenings that we're supposed to have. But every time I've had any like major trigger in life, it has always surrounded some kind of planetary alignment or something. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's really intense. And but the major 2012 was a huge one because after that I started real, and it was so weird because whenever spirit would put me through the process of breaking these curses, because they are generational curses, I was specifically told what they were. And then
Mm.
I was specifically told this is what's being broken from your DNA or your lineage.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
so that's why I asked you if you always thought about that, because ever since I was young I've always been like, I never want to be like my parents, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't fathom or entertain the idea of having children until I know that I can provide them stability, that I can provide them and emotional intelligence, and I myself
Emo-
have to have these, I have to have these
Emotional
things.
intelligence, girl.
Yes.
How can you soothe a baby if you don't know how the fuck to soothe yourself? You
Yes,
know how the
exactly.
fuck, you know how do you gonna uh, like even one of the most like bad things that is out there is control, is
Yes.
parents wanting to control. If you don't understand that children come through you, not for you, they're not
Right.
yours.
Yes, exactly.
most people most people still those days work in a mindset of ownership, like this is my child, and he will do X, Y, and Z, and he will be a lawyer, and he will marry that girl, and he's got
Yep.
that is like the basic of, do you understand that life cannot be controlled? Do you understand that you can't control others? You can't control situation. You can't control circumstance, and the only fucking thing you can control is yourself.
Yes, yes. It's like people are playing God with their offspring, and then they wonder why their kids don't want to talk to them when they become adults. You know? It's
Yeah,
like, it's really crazy.
but
Wow.
there is so it's so subtle sometimes. So like even you have to be confronted with hard shit. Like I always say when I do even my coaching session with my client, I would say like she's like, "Oh, I want to be pregnant." It's like, "Okay, if you give birth to somebody and this somebody when he turns 18, he becomes a serial killer, or he becomes a pedophile, or he decide to leave you and live in the other side of the world without talking to you. How?" And they freak out, you know, they freak, no, this will never happen. No. We have to come to the real meaning of unconditional love.
Yes.
Real meaning of that. which means even if you give birth to a monster, you need to understand that like you can't control, like there needs to be freedom. There needs to be real unconditional love will break most of the courses, most of the generational shit that goes. But most people make babies because they want two babies. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not because they understand that they are about to give birth to something that could be even the new messiah of the planet. They
Right.
they think about, I want a girl, I want a boy, like I want a dog, like I want a house, like I want a car, and
Yeah.
unfortunately that create karma already.
Yeah.
Already is already created. If you conceive a baby with this mentality, you are already saying to the universe, I want another puppy. I want something else to fill up my life. I want something else for me.
Yes. And we're conditioned that way because from the time we're little, we're constantly told one day you're going to have children and your children are going to treat you like you treat me. And from the very moment we're able to hear and walk and talk, we're being fed that narrative. You're going to have children one day. And then when people, I've realized now the newer generations don't want to have children.
But
They
thank God
don't.
because they are fucking waking up.
They're waking up, they're realizing something needs to change here because the way things are going, it's they don't see a purpose or a reason for it to continue the way that it currently is. And so it's like something has to be readjusted. And a lot of people, I'm so grateful to be born in such a time where people are waking up, even though it is hard because we are doing the hard work. We are
Yes,
having
we
to
are.
transmute all this energy. It's
And it's
really,
heavy
really
as fuck.
exactly. I'm like, I want to start something because I need to like escape sometimes, but I haven't gotten there yet. But yeah, so honestly, it's hard. It's hard work. But I think once I saw what happened with my mom, it was really encouraging because I'm like, okay, it was all for not only myself. Um, I believe that these kind of stories are meant to be shared with others, and
They are.
um,
That's why if
it's
you can tap the screen, guys, or share the live so that the more people that needs to hear this, but it's gonna be a short live, but if you can do that, I would appreciate. But we have to speak about it because uh, even for example, the fact that after 10 years, I was able to sit in a table like and do a healing with, and my family doesn't even the fuck know what healing means. They don't, it's like they don't speak this language. They don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. They don't see it, right? Because they just being in it. But the fact that they came to me, ask me to like talk about it and literally bring it to the light after all those centuries and years that they've been repressed and put it in the shadow, you know and it's like, well, therapy, for example, even when we went to school, nobody taught us about family therapy. Nobody taught us about sitting down with maybe an expert or a psychologist and visualize like all the issue of every single family member, or what they're hiding, what they're repressing, what they're frustrating about. And you can call it healing if you want to put into fancy word and spirituality. But in reality, people, is just opening up. It's just
yeah,
opening up and being honest and taking ownership of the shit that you did and the shit
right,
that I did. And we all taking ownership of our own crap without only pointing, and it's time for people to introduce this on the daily. We are
yeah,
healing at the speed of light in this moment. Like the amount of vibration that we are receiving from the Schumann and from aliens in
yes,
general. We have literally army of aliens that are sending vibration to on each house every night, people. And if you are not being aware of this, be more listen more because it's everywhere. It's literally like we have to do introduce these things daily if we can. And if it's not possible, remember that the more you be selfish, heal yourself, just focus on yourself, and
Yep.
then they will come. They will be attracted. So it's not even up to you to go there and say, no, we have to talk. No, you focus on healing your energy and they will come to you like
Yep.
bees on the honey.
Yep. Like when like flies to the light.
To the,
Like
to,
flies to the
to the
light.
share.
Wow. No, this is amazing, incredible. And I'm
Yeah.
actually really excited too because it makes me wonder because this works like a ripple, right? When you heal yourself and other people are drawn to you and they ask, like you were saying earlier, they start asking you what you've done and then you're able to, share that knowledge. But it's like ripple effects that just go off in different parts of the world. Like you were saying earlier, like from the way our parents raised us or the way that they were raised is this is the way and this is the only way. And it's like that has a lot to do with culture as well because each country, each region has its own set of rules and regulations and things the way, like for instance, like Latinos in the South American, it's all about, like you said, control.
Yes.
But children are not allowed to have a voice. Children are not allowed to speak. They're
Yes.
not allowed to have their existence is not for them to is not to be acknowledged.
No.
And so from a young age you're taught to like not speak or not, and you're literally repressed.
Yeah.
And so is it like that also in
Of
your
course.
culture,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
that as well?
Yeah.
And so it kind of puts into perspective, like for me a lot, it put into perspective how I talk to kids. And it's hard because kids are very energetic, they're extremely energetic and a little crazy.
But
But
that is the thing as well. Like, unfortunately, we, and I'm not joking when I say that we are have been literally blinded
yeah.
from the obvious. And
Yep.
here I'm gonna get really, really specific. When people speak about conspiracy theory, we've been blinded from the obvious, and that is the thing. When you see a child, literally, you don't have to do nothing if not just observing it
Yes.
for 1 hour to understand that you have literally the divine speaking through them.
Yes. Yes.
it, you don't need a degree, you don't need a diploma, you don't need study of any kind. You just literally need to observe the way that they look at the world, the way they move. Everything is magical. They sense behind the veil, they
Yeah.
sense energy, they sense entities, they sense um even feelings. You know,
Yes.
I tell you one story. I've always been a lover of children, but so one day I was in this field. Okay, there was a lot of trees, and there was almost nobody in this field. There was these trees, and I was sitting, and I was just contemplating something that I love to do. I just zone out, and I look around for hours. That's it. This is what I do. And what happened? I got really a sense of all of a sudden, like I was looking around, everything was magical, the leaves and the sun and the bird. Now all of a sudden, I've got this melancholic, melancholic, like
Yeah,
uh,
like
a
reminiscent, like you
feeling of
reminisce.
like of missing home, but it just came like quickly,
Mm.
right? And I was like that, and then this child appeared from nowhere. So he stand next to me. I turned my head, and girl, we had the same expression.
Oh my god.
He looked at me and he was like, and I looked
Oh.
at him and I was like, and we looked with the
Oh.
same expression. I'm not kidding. And of course I look at him and I was like, I said, why are you sad? And he looked at me and he's like, no, why are you sad?
Wow.
Girl, that fucking child felt my energy from miles away. He came running towards me with he had a little,
Like a
like
horse?
the thing that they,
Oh,
anyway, he had
a
something.
bicycle? Oh, like a scooter.
Yeah, a scooter, the one with the legs, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I didn't see him, so my face was like,
Oh
and I
my
just
God.
turned my head, and he had my face. He had my same face, and we just stared at each other.
Wow.
And I couldn't change my face because I was just, I don't know why I felt that, And he just looked at me and was like, no, no, why are you like that? And
Wow.
he's like, I ran.
Oh my God.
I was like, what? Who the fuck are you? What is your mother? I was like, what is this?
That's so cute. Oh my God.
But when he left, my that was my inner child, girl. That was my
Wow.
inner child. It got a moment, my inner child for a moment, it got melancholic about something. And this child that was playing with the mother far away, he ran to me with,
Oh
and with
my.
the same face expression. It's like he felt it. He just matched the energy. You
Yeah.
get it
Yeah.
just matched my energy. He was feeling it like telepathically. He was just bonding like my inner child. So children have like this immense amount of power, and we treat them like they are empty vessels that know nothing. We
Yeah.
treat them, you have to and then it's like you should shut the fuck up and you should observe
Yeah.
before. There are things that of course we can teach children, but there
Right.
is so much that they are here to teach you.
Yes.
We
Absolutely.
don't look at the world with those magical eyes. So when you look at them, spirit is asking you, where did you leave your eyes? Like
Yeah.
they are so profound and they have so many lessons. Even the way there is this experiment of Montessori, and I mean Montessori is a study that has been done in the 600.
I've heard of it, but I can't recall right now what
And I'm
exactly
like,
they did during that study.
my God, girl, we are in 2022 and we are still getting shocked about the
Mm,
discovery that was done in the 60s, the 50s, and earlier. You know, this
yeah.
woman was explaining the way when they learn, they have the grace of God.
Oh,
When you are looking for the grace of God, you can look at Da Vinci painted the Venus, the Botticelli, the Venere of coming out of the shell, and she was the divine. But if you look for divine grace, you look at children, is there, it's there. The way that they pick things up and they don't know, so everything they do is done with such grace. And when they learn how to walk and then they wobble and then it's that is divine grace. But we are just we blind, girl, we are blind
yeah.
pieces of rock.
Yep. It's
And
amazing. I'm really excited though because there's an evolution happening right now, like a major, major evolution. And it's like all of this work is healing the planet as well. It's healing the lines, the generational lines, but we're so connected to nature and to the planet that it's healing the earth and it's healing the things around us. Sorry, there's an ambulance happening. But it's like there's this darkness that's trying to suppress and stop that process.
yes,
But it's like you were saying earlier, there's gonna come a point where they can't stop it. They can't
no, they
stop
can't.
the process.
I
It's
am strongly, hello, Christina. Yeah, I'm strongly convinced that they can. It is not. It's done already. Spirit told me multiple times that we won already. They
Yeah.
told me multiple times that is all a show to make you scared. But
Yeah.
the problem is that the waves that we had of indigo and rainbow children is impossible. These children will be adults really
Mhm.
soon. We are unstoppable. We were just we were the warrior that were supposed to come in and break the shit.
Yeah.
But when those rainbow children are gonna be adult, this planet will be a completely different planet. It's not
Absolutely.
not about anymore the government. Is not about, they cannot, like, they are here, they're being planted, the rainbow children are here, like they're coming through us. And the more people heal, so once you heal, once I heal, we give birth to children that are not human. They hold a power that is totally different. They don't have to deal with the shit of karma and the pain and the suffering and the trauma. They don't have to deal with this shit. They are born already fully connected with the divine. They are they are born fully in alignment. Even they know
Yeah.
already how to do, where to go. They know already. They will never fall for stupid knowledge. Those children, if you tell them, oh, there is a new variant, they're gonna stick a thumb up your asshole. Yeah, they're not gonna believe the bullshit that the government says. They're not gonna.
Right.
It's a different. They are. It's a different race. We literally gonna be a different race in
Yes.
not even 30 year, people. Not
Yeah.
even 30 year. We are here. It's here. It's now. Like, so
Yeah.
just keep focusing on healing yourself. And what healing, the true meaning of healing, it's being able to walk in peace and harmony. Whatever you have to go through to get you there, you will have to go through it.
Oh, yes, definitely.
What, whatever is your shadow, your trauma, your sadness, your frustration, your depression, your whatever it is, it needs to be consumed, burned through it, and start fresh, essentially.
Yes, definitely. There was something else I wanted to share. I can't recall right now, but
Sorry,
someone
I
said
didn't
here
hear
to look
you.
up the prophecies of the Rainbow Warrior. I'm definitely gonna look into that.
Oh,
Uh,
Michael said, look up the Professional Rainbow Warriors.
have you heard about that?
No, I haven't. But what when I was young, they told me, my spirit guy, and I was only a teenager at that time, but they were telling me, you are paved, you are, anyway, we are creating the way, that we're pavementing the way for the rainbow children. So
Oh,
uh, I knew, and I was born. I mean, many of us, to do this kind of shit in this way, you have to be really old in um
like advanced soul?
yes, but one thing is being, so if a pure soul come into earth, most of the time they suicide straight away. And it's because they're too elevate. Like when they see this shit, they just don't know how to handle it. So many of us had a lot of past life. It's because it's not important only to be connected to source, but we have to have earth experience. Like we have to be veteran on this torture shit. You have to be a veteran on pain, essentially, if you want
Yes.
to survive on planet earth. You need to
Yes.
be master of holding and transmuting pain. If you are too pure, it can be really hardcore for you, because in other planet, in other level of in which this duality, this polarity is not present, people
Yeah.
don't deal with this shit.
Right.
One example that I can tell you is one of my clients that she's actually here.
Oh,
In the chat,
nice.
Christina, I was talking, I managed to talk with her version of herself from the sixth dimension. And
Mm. Oh, wow.
the version of her from the sixth dimension was having tremendous trouble to be in Christina body. And I was having a
Oh,
conversation with her, and she was explaining, oh, up there is all beautiful, up there is like this, up there is like that. And I was like, yes, girl, up there. Down here, nope. So,
yeah.
I mean, it can, so even for high dimensional being to calm down here, it's painful,
Yes. Oh, very jarring.
fucking painful.
Yes. I remembered what I was gonna say, but there's a show on Netflix that talks about near death experiences, and they feature a lot of children in that show because all these young children, very, very young, remember their past lives.
Yes.
Like they remember that they've lived here before, they remember their names, they remember how they died.
Address, I've seen that,
And
yeah.
you have seen it, and the parents look up the information and they're able to find the person, and they confirm that that person passed the way that this child said. And I'm telling you, it's really, really young children that don't even know how to read yet, and they're giving all this information. And it's like, are those like the rainbow children? Is that what they are, the rainbow children?
Well, it doesn't, you can also not be a rainbow children and still remember your past
Oh,
lives.
I see.
That is, most of us reincarnated here in a loop for a reason, is because we weren't learning certain things. Other of us were meant to just try something new and move on to a different planet.
I,
But there are so many things that we will never be completely omniscient, especially at the level that we are right now. I mean, we
yes.
think we are advanced, but compared to all the other motherfucking species of aliens in the universe, we are one of the most backwards.
Right.
So even though, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are exponentially growing. We are finally understanding that we are energy, that behind this body there is behind the physical there is the spiritual, etc. But there are millions of other galaxies and other races of aliens that, that they look at one, they manifest instantaneously. So we can try to analyze and explain things, but there will always be a limit at the moment. It's
Yeah.
like we look at the monkeys, for how much you can teach the monkey to sit down and pay and do whatever, is always going to be a certain level of growth, but before they come human, the jump, and it's the
It's
same for us. We are the monkeys of the universe, essentially.
pretty much,
Kind
definitely.
of. Yeah.
Yes. No, I hear what you're saying. I had this weird experience back in 2016 when I had my awakening. One particular night, because I told you I was going through physical illness, and
Mm.
I felt like I was separated from my body most days. And in the evenings, I would have these experiences where I would get visited by these beings, and they would tell me things, and or I would have these dreams about the future. It was like a lot for a couple of months. But one particular night, and I will never forget this, I felt like I went somewhere else. Like for a few nights in a row, I was going somewhere else. And then one particular night, I remember like not wanting to go back to my body. I was like, I
Mm.
don't want to go back to my body. I was dreading it. And I remember, this is like the weird part. I remember that I knew everything. I had all knowledge of
You were, yes, you got
everything.
enlightened.
And I knew that as soon as I stepped into my body that I was going to forget that I knew everything. But
Of
I
course.
was allowed, and I was told by my guides, whoever was with me at that moment, they said, you need to remember that when you're out of a body, you are all knowing. You are an all knowing being. but you're not allowed to remember what information it is that you know.
Yeah.
We knew everything. We know everything outside the body.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when I stepped into my body, I was like really upset because I was like, I just knew everything. I knew
Yeah.
all the answers, all the
Well, it's
mysteries,
funny that
everything.
you say that. I don't know though if it's about body or non-body because I had two uh like fully enlightened moment. And one of those I knew everything. And and
Yeah.
and I and I was in my physical body though. But it
Oh,
lasted for
yeah.
little. But it was fucked up because
Yeah. It's a
it's
crazy
fucked up because
experience.
you see you see the energy and then the energy takes shape in everything you know.
Yeah.
A- and then you know that there is one way in which with this energy by doing something to it you can obtain everything.
Yeah.
So
No, the thing is,
essentially you
yeah.
know everything, like you know how everything is created or or transmuted or changed or but then yeah it didn't last long, and then when you come back
Wow.
to your reality it's like eh.
It's super
Okay.
dark. But the thing is, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I literally stepped out of my body, or I don't know if it was a vision, or because when I was in that state, everything
Oh,
looked
you see, somebody just confirmed it. Manifest
during a
miracle.
near death experience. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
actually dying, so I can confirm that I was in a period of time where I was very sensitive to people's energies. I could take their energy, or they could take it from me very, very easily. Especially if the person was really young and healthy. I didn't intentionally do it. It just so happened that when I happened to be really depleted and I was standing next to someone with really good energy, I started feeling better. And I could feel like the energy pulling in. It's almost like when people are in hospice when they're older and you go visit them, you can literally feel them taking your energy. And it's a natural
Yes.
process and there's nothing we can do to stop it. It just so happens that
No.
that's how we're
Yeah.
like taught, we're like energetic beings. So that's why it's so important, the whole like protecting your energy and things like that, because there's people that are like vampires that will siphon your energy and they're just as capable as anybody else to preserve and generate their own energy. It's just they choose not to.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's always been quite a question mark for me because I mean, I know that I can suck energy if I want to. This doesn't make me a bad, but I know that is I can give, I can suck, and everyone else can do the same. You can
Yeah.
give or you can suck. And it will always be a point in your life in which, I mean, it's not that you do it on purpose, but it's going to be one day in your life in which you feel drained and you need a talk with a friend. But guess what? That talk with a friend is is taking a bit of fresh air, right? So
Yeah.
it's there
Yeah.
is
No,
we are made for energy exchange, right? I think.
yeah. No, there's well, the only example that I can think of as far as like energy vampires is someone who has like a really um overstretched solar plexus, and it's like siphoning energy from their sacral and their heart chakra. So because they're depleted in their sacral and their heart chakra, they really become cold-hearted and they don't care what they have to do to take from people. So they
All
become
right.
this like siphon, like they'll suck the
Siphon.
life out of, and that's an extreme case, not, because we all have that ability to give and take or exchange, but in
Yeah,
that
but some, yeah,
particular.
no, I know that some more than other. I mean, there are people that literally like they open their mouth,
Oh,
they just open their mouth, and I feel this like on.
you feel it immediately. Yeah.
I'm like
Yeah.
Jesus,
Yeah.
like
No,
what a
you
fuck.
can tell who the vampires are. Like you have physical reactions to it. You literally will have physical reactions to it. And but it was so weird to me because like during that time when I was like in between life and death. Oh, are you there, Alice? Did she get cut off? Uh-oh. Oh, I don't know what's going on. Maybe she paused the video, or, but yeah.